All right, it's the Super Centex Podcast with Michael and Chad. Boys, good to see y'all.
Good to see you
well,
too.
We're post preview season. That's a great place to be.
It is a great place to be.
1,000%.
Yeah, I've said it many times, but it's a little bit of a relief when the games get here. And we got a really good one this week, week 2. I think that we've got to start right here. This figures to be one of the top matchups in the state in any classification, and that is Celina, number 1 in 4A Division 1, hosting La-Vega, number 3 in 4A Division 2. The Pirates looked pretty stinking good, dominant, I would say, in their opener against Kennedale, 41-3. But of course, Celina is a different animal altogether. In fact, they are a bobcat, whereas Kennedale is a wildcat. So,
noted.
Very much
right.
a
different kind of cat.
Yeah, different kind of cat.
Uh-huh.
So, what does La-Vega need to do to spring the upset? I would say it would be a mild upset, but still on the road. And how beneficial are these games for the Pirates in the long run?
Well, first off, what does La-Vega need to do to, try to win? I would say it's kind of coach speak, but don't overcomplicate things. Kind of just, La-Vega's good. Like they're a good team too. It's not like,
Right.
to your point, Bryce, Celina would certainly be viewed as a pretty good favorite in this game, especially being at home. But La-Vega's got speed, they've got talent, they've got dudes too. We always talk about dudes, and they absolutely have those guys too. So run the ball well. It's really going to come down to the trench, playing in the trenches, and it's probably going to come down to possessions too. Honestly, if La-Vega starts turning the ball over, or Celina too, I think the team that ends up having the ball more is probably going to stand, serve well to, win this one. And in terms of how beneficial this game and other games for the Pirates will be, it's huge. We saw last year, what were they, 2-3 going into district play, La-Vega, and people had kind of almost written them off in a way.
Written them off a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, did you look at the non-districts? There was close losses to like Stephenville, but these games are huge because, the goal for this school is to make deep runs in the playoffs. That's what they want to do, especially with so many guys back. And the games like this will, obviously prepare them for those 3rd and 4th round matchups if they get there.
I got to cover this ball game last year when it was at Willie Williams Stadium, and La-Vega was,
it was
to use
21 all.
McGuire,
21 all at halftime.
Yeah. To use a Joey McGuire, metaphor, they stepped in the tire with them, or I guess that's the Rocky or the Creed, the Creed illusion, right? Yeah.
Okay,
where the
stepped
two guys
in the tire with them. I like it.
Step in the tire, and that's what La-Vega did, and it was in the 4th quarter, and there was like a little bang bang play that Celina got a ball, maybe got a turnover or something, and then scored a touchdown pretty quick, and it stretched it to 14 points, and all of a sudden Celina could kind of breathe a little bit easier. But I think La-Vega had kind of a young defense last year, so maybe a more mature defense. They might be hungry to slow Celina down, because Celina was tough for La-Vega to stop last year. And then, we know how electrifying Jabari Thornton can be for La-Vega. And, you pop a couple of plays with him and you kind of get that thing going on the road. And La-Vega could hang with him. La-Vega could pull off an upset.
Yeah, no doubt. Sometimes it's as much about putting the ball in the air and letting an athlete go and try to get it,
Mm-hmm. And also, Jabari caught some passes last week, but they had several guys. In fact, they had 6 different guys catch passes, it looks like.
Yeah. And Jabari, he caught some passes, but I think he had like 32 yards. It wasn't like he was killing Kennedale. They won without really needing him, I guess. Sure, he was out there, and probably was a decoy, but.
And I guess maybe they scored a couple of return touchdowns because.
Yeah, so they opened the game with a 60-yard kickoff return from forgetting his name. It's one of their running backs, and then Quay Willis had a punt return touchdown
Mm.
for their last score. So
Mhm.
Well, that could be a big key too.
yeah,
We've talked a lot about special teams and how that can change a game around. Chad wrote a story in that preview season about the impact of a good kick returner. Yeah, La Vega's got looks like they've got a couple that can take it to the house for sure.
All right. Yep. Yep.
All right,
but
well, we've been able to take a little time
Jones,
now.
Elbert Jones was his name. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no worries. We've been able to take a little time now and kind of comb through the week one results and look at the stats a little bit. Um, Kind of now that you've, had a moment to exhale and kind of scan everything, is there an outcome or maybe a big stat performance that has jumped out at you that maybe we didn't talk about the other day?
Well, I've got a question for you. When you think of the name Emmanuel Abdallah for China Spring, what do you think of? Bryce, this is probably more aimed at you. It's a little bit before you got around here, Michael.
Freaking good
Mhm.
running back.
Yeah, and some eye-popping games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chrishon Gregory the other night,
Yeah.
24 carries for 337 yards.
Yeah,
That was Emmanuel Abdallah-esque.
you're stealing my guy. I mean, that's who I was going to talk about too.
I was also going to say that.
Question.
I was
You
also
asked the
going to say that.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
well,
going to be the third one to answer. You better have a backup.
no, it's good. Obviously, yeah, Chrishon Gregory put on a show. Senior running back. I think he had a pretty good year last year, but
Yeah.
obviously, I don't think any of us were expecting him to come out of the gate and put up 337, three touchdowns on the ground,
And then
another
400 overall.
yeah,
Yeah.
four in the game, 79-yard touchdown catch. Uh, yeah, he looks like poised, to maybe be a big time breakout guy.
Yeah. 100% agree. That was also going to be my pick, but there is another guy I can think of here who I don't know if quietly is the right word, but I don't think we talked about it at all. And now this is a guy we have talked about a lot. It's Jamarion Vincent from Connally. We always talk about, six-man guys having just unreal stat games. I think Jamarion's probably the guy at, one of those bigger levels who
He's
can
the
do stuff.
11-man version of a 6-man.
Yes. I mean, like I'll just read this off. I mean, he had 125 yards on 5 catches for 2 touchdowns. Only 3 carries for 15 yards, but also as we know, he's a pretty good DB. Had 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. He scooped up a fumble and scored a touchdown on that. So I mean, like the guy just is everywhere, and I think that's another one. I don't know if it would have necessarily surprised me to see a stat line like that because we know what you can kind of get from Jamarion, but it still just goes to show. I mean, he's one of those guys you have to look out for every night.
Who's throwing him the ball?
That's a great question. I can find that out. I'm not sure.
Well, while you look that up,
Yeah.
so they are planning on using Jamarion Vincent as a DB once he gets to Baylor. So
Mhm.
that's where his future lies. And as you said, he's special on both sides of the ball. Um, I did fortunately have a backup, Chad, and it's not a person, but rather a team that we didn't talk about, and probably don't talk about that much, just because they're kind of on the fringes of our area. But um, so Belton got off to a good start with a 21-17 win over Pflugerville Hendrickson. That team Belton lost to 14-0 last year. And Belton ended up making the playoffs last year at 2-8, one of those 2-8 playoff teams. They lost to um, uh, Brenham, of course. They lost to University and they lost to Ellison and beat Rudder and Waco High. This year, I mean, it wouldn't really surprise me. I mean, this feels like a trending up kind of team. Um,
Mhm.
that if Belton could maybe beat Ellison and maybe, beat University. I don't see him beating Brenham, but it was 35-25 last year in the Belton
Yep.
University game. And that low key has turned into a really good rivalry in recent years, Belton University. I've noticed like when we've had questions on the questionnaire, like who's your biggest rival, Belton will often say University, vice versa, even more so than like Waco High for
Hmm.
University. So that's a fun rivalry, and I think Belton is a team to watch.
Back in the day when I was in Midway, Belton was our biggest rival. So there's a little bit of, kind of intersectional heat there, I think.
Hmm.
Well, and plus, Bryce, to piggyback off of what you said, so I was at that Belton University game last year, and it was Belton, I think, had the lead going into the fourth. Like University had to like kind of
Hmm.
pull out its stops to win. And then the Brenham game too, it was real close at half, and then Brenham just kind of took over with like an ex really explosive third quarter. So even last year in a 2-8 season for Belton, I mean they were competitive, and like you said, Bryce, they bring back a lot, and they're certainly a team to look out for in that district. Certainly.
Yeah,
I'm going to hit a
actually,
couple more names.
sure.
Yeah.
Garrett Keaton for Gatesville,
Yep.
more than
Yep.
20 yards per completion on 14 of 19 passing, 4 touchdowns. 314
His
yards total is what he had.
his teammate Amos Phillips, as we know really
And
well.
he had more than 20 yards
Yeah,
per catch. Yeah.
well, and he also turns around on defense and makes a lot of plays too.
Hmm.
So yeah, he's
He might
he's
have been there.
special.
Yeah, they had some good ones last year, but he was up there with all of them. And then, of course, the guy I saw. Now that I'm shooting photos, I don't keep stats kind of like I
Mhm.
used to. But I know Kobe Haynes had a big game. He had a big game just off touchdown catches. But he ended
Yeah,
up with 8 receptions for 208 yards and those 3 touchdowns.
there
Well,
is there's two other guys I want to bring up real quick,
sure.
Bryce, if that's okay. So in that wild McGregor Hillsborough game, that double
Hmm.
overtime that double overtime game that Hillsborough pulled out at the end, Bubba Zacharias from McGregor, 19 of 32, 415 yards and three
Yeah,
touchdowns,
yeah.
and carried the ball 13 times for 57 yards and two more touchdowns.
Hmm.
And 263 of those yards went to one receiver, Dominic Madrone, who also had a touchdown. So I mean, lots of crazy numbers in that game.
Yeah, that one was a fun one for sure. I think he does, but I sure hope that Garrig Keaton plays baseball as well with a
He
name
does.
Garrig. Lou Gehrig was one of the great baseball players of all time, the Iron Horse. So yeah, that's a good name.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
so we saw a lot of coaches debut last week, a lot of new coaches, I should say. Um, some of those guys won their games. Kevin Brown at Robinson, Jose Aguirre at Gatesville. Others like Chris Lancaster at Mart, Charles Foster at University, Ezra Martinez at Waco High. Those teams took it on the chin. When you're a new coach and you're in a new place, how critical is it to get that first W on the
Well,
board?
I don't know that you necessarily have to win, but it's good if you don't look like a lost old man up there and you have your 24-year-old girlfriend walk over to you and say something to you during the game.
Hey, you know
Well
what
played.
I call his girlfriend? I call
The
her
succubus?
his Bella chick. Come on, that's pretty good.
Well,
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I imagine Cooper and Millie can tell us that's just par for the course dad joke for you.
Oh yeah.
You guys have heard
I'll
my cherry
actually
bombs before.
Well, to answer your question, I think, just to kind of piggyback off of what Chad said, it is critical to get wins. I mean, that's how you build confidence, seeing the results. But I think all of those coaches you listed would all agree that there's a right way to do it. And, I think all of those guys would rather, go 0 and 10 and lose close contested battles against quality opponents than say maybe go 5 and 5. You play five cupcakes in your non-district and then just get smoked in district play. You know what I mean? Like there's a right way to lose, and I feel like these guys are learning by kind of taking it on the
I
chin.
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be 0 and
Well,
10 though. Like,
sure.
easy to say that when you're not wearing those losses.
True.
I mentioned Weston Cooper at Moody last on our Saturday morning serial podcast. That being referenced, it's usually after dark, and it was Saturday morning this week. But anyway, and they did go 0-10 last year, but he said they came back in January and they were ready to fight, and they had a great offseason and they won the other night. So, but yeah, I mean, winning, there's no substitute for winning.
Sure.
No, there isn't. And I just feel like when you're early in the process, sometimes there can be like a little skepticism among your new guys that are like, are we sure about this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And, a win a lot of times will help get everybody excited,
That's fair.
I remember the great Kent Bechtel when I was in high school and I was the sports editor for the Panther Post. And we didn't win a lot my sophomore and junior year. Turned it around a little bit at the end of my senior year. But I remember Coach Bechtel telling me how much easier it is to teach kids after you win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's true.
Saturday mornings are a lot sweeter after a Friday night victory. That's for sure.
Certainly
makes that film breakdown a little nicer. All right. Well, so as a collection of sports writers with varying degrees of experience, we still have all covered a lot of high school football games at a lot of different locations, and we've probably written stories in some different locations. And I know some of y'all's, I think I know some of the answers to what I'm going to ask, but let's say the press box is not available. We've all been in situations where they're like ready to go home and shut things down, and we're kind of rushed. So what's your favorite spot to write? And how about your least favorite spot?
I'll let you go first this time, Michael.
Yeah, sure. I mean, typically, the car setup is a good spot if you just got to do it real quick. But if you're, that's also if you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere where there's not somewhere that's well lit or something open to go post up and hang out. If I'm close to Waco, sometimes I'll just go pop in like either a late night coffee shop or something like that. But to kind of finish writing. But yeah, I feel like the car is kind of where I usually hold it down, especially if I'm on the road somewhere, kind of out and about. I'm trying to think of other spots. I'll let you go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, I've gotten used to the passenger seat of my car, and technology has advanced such that you can get pretty good internet access most of the time. Sometimes you're holding your phone up so you get enough bars, to be able to do that. When you and I were in Hamilton the other night, you were mentioning how you were able to access all the speeds of different things, and you were saying the download speed was awful. Yeah, it was awful out there where we were at. Was it Cooking Field?
Yeah,
Cooking Field.
No,
Cookin, Kooken,
right.
Cooking Field.
Yeah. Cooking. Yeah. The internet wasn't cooking. So, also if there's a good Whataburger within, within shouting distance to get to, but yeah, so those are some of my spots. My least favorite, I don't know,
Me neither. I'm thinking
everything outside of the car or the press box is kind of equally bad.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm going to be the contrarian here. I do not like riding in the car.
Okay.
And here, my situation may be a little bit different than y'all's as well. It's one thing to ride in the car when the car is stationary.
True.
It's another thing to ride in the car.
Well, I don't drive and ride at the same time.
Yes, I realize this, but I am often with another person. And so bouncing around in the back seat or whatever, that's not my favorite. It's just.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe my least favorite is in the car while Rod is driving. Rod Adelot, our trusted photo editor.
And just to take it back, I know I asked the question in the way that the press box wasn't available, but I will also say one of my other least favorite is a press box where they are trying to rush you out. That
Yeah.
that is annoying. Um, if we're talking most favorite, I agree with Chad that like a good Whataburger or I think every high school football writer that's been around for a while has written from a Whataburger or a McDonald's or something. Back in the day, Chad, I feel like McDonald's was kind of on the forefront of
Mhm.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and McDonald's just exchanged that with the Whataburger here.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so here's an interesting thought though that I just had. This week on Thursday, NBC debuts The Paper, which is like in the lineage of The Office, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
this,
I don't know
fictionally
whether
speaking, the
I
same
don't know
crew that
whether to
shot The
be
Office. Huh?
excited. I don't know whether to be excited or skeptical.
I know I'm pretty afraid I'm gonna hate it,
I
but
know. I
but
agree.
but I might really like it. But what I don't think they're gonna have is just that kind of true grittiness of the sports writer being out there sitting in their
Mhm.
car writing a game story on a Friday night or a Tuesday night,
They should ask
Right.
us to write some of the sports writer storylines.
Wouldn't it be? Yeah,
Man.
I know. Wouldn't it be so great if like one of their reporters was at a game and like some cheerleader was mouthing off at him about the questions he asked the quarterback? Because I've had that happen.
Or Chad, what if a sports writer was at a game and like 8,000 people started booing him and he was on the big screen and got in a shouting match with the coach and
That yeah, okay. That how about they're covering the TAP state track meet or a TAPS track meet, and they start mouthing off at some other reporter there.
we're gonna out ourselves here.
Mm.
Um, I am gonna go quickly back to my other favorite place to write. Uh, if you're Michael said if you're close to Waco, find in a coffee shop or something. If you're close to Waco, go freaking home.
Oh, sure.
Like I do cover a lot of Midway games, and Midway's 5 minutes or less from my house, and yes, it's nice to a lot of times go straight home and write
Well,
from the comforts of
I
your
was
abode.
uh, I was getting nostalgic on the drive home from Hamilton the other night, and I just painted this picture of the old days when we would drive back to the newsroom and write. You'd have the
Mhm.
college kids in there taking the phone calls and have two copy editors working on things. And I think I was just painted this picture of like sports writing utopia, which I'm not sure that's how it felt at the time. Although there was a certain electricity and energy about it on
There
those
really
nights.
was. Yeah, Michael, I would have liked for you to experience that.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
different era, but we legit had the entire newsroom filled up with college kids taking stats over the phone,
Wow.
and Chad can remember. I mean, at the end of the night when you finally got the paper done,
Mm-hmm.
this is honestly where the idea for After Dark came about
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
we used to just stand around then and say, "Well, now tell me about your game." Yeah, tell me about,
Mhm.
and like
Mm-hmm.
uh we also Chad can remember this sports writer that we used to have at the Trib, David G. Campbell, and
Mm-hmm.
Dave used to call me like when he knew I had time and stuff, and he'd be like, "All right, so tell me about your game," and it was just this is what we did. We kind of unpacked it all,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and it was always fun, and so that's why I do like that we have After Dark because the legacy of that atmosphere lives on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good stuff. So remind the viewers, remind me where you're headed this week.
I'm going to Mejia, cover Fairfield Mejia, little
Always a
crosstown rivalry
good
there. Yeah,
rivalry game. That's a long-standing rivalry. They're in
it
different
is.
districts now,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's a fun one.
Well, everyone knows each other, and then oftentimes kids are like related, so it's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
And I'll see the Robinson Rockets host Caldwell.
yeah. A team that Robinson often plays in non-district, the Hornets of Caldwell,
Mm-hmm.
just down Highway 77 from Robinson a ways. Yeah, Rockets got off to a good start last week. I mean,
Yeah, they did.
um, I'll be seeing Midway on Thursday night against Cedar Ridge down in Round Rock, and then Friday night I'm going to China Spring, so I'll get my chance to see Mr. Gregory do
Right,
his
right, right.
thing, and I'll report back to y'all and
We
see.
may not have figured this out yet, but I'm sure we have some options for that la-vega-celina game.
Levi has
Levi.
covered that
Yeah.
one for us.
Yeah.
So I'm
That'll
excited
be a big
about
I
one.
that.
thought you might stick Zach on it since he could cover that and then just come back down to SMU
Well,
for a
Well,
Saturday
we're all
game.
going to SMU together. So
Yeah, gotcha.
anyway,
all right.
got some good games coming up. We'll see you at the game.